So the other day, I was on Reddit and I saw a thread on r/liberal gun owners where people were asking, is Kamala Harris pro-gun? Is she actually anti-gun, or was she just parroting Biden's policies as his vice president? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you an older video of mine detailing how, as Attorney General of the state of California, Kamala Harris actually created a secret undercover way to restrict people from being able to pass background checks who had clear criminal histories and did have the right to legally buy a gun and had the ability to pass a background check, but they set up a backdoor way to deny people the ability to pass a background check with no way of knowing that this would affect you. Now, this video was from a few years ago, so if I look a little younger, I was. If I look a little smaller, I was. If I'm talking in a way that seems as if I'm dancing around or trying to be very careful with my words, I was. Because I was trying to not accidentally say something wrong and get sued or thrown in prison or get the attention of far too many lawyers and government agencies. So this video should make it very clear to you that Kamala Harris is, by every meaning of the word, anti-gun. Now, let's just completely gloss over the fact that I am a named plaintiff in a lawsuit that has to directly tackle a California law against micro-stamping because Kamala Harris signed off on it and said that it was a viable technology, which it wasn't, which prevented people like me and you in the state of California from being able to legally purchase any modern handgun since 2013. Let's ignore all the other times that she said, I'm going to pass the assault weapon ban. I'm going to pass the assault weapon ban. Let's just talk about the time that she illegally used her power to restrict people from being able to own a gun without any due process whatsoever. Thank you.
What if I told you that Kamala Harris, as part of her time as the Attorney General of the state of California, alongside the California Department of Justice, enacted illegal and secret policies that restricted free citizens from owning firearms and owning ammunition? These policies violated their First, Second, and Sixth Amendment rights. Now, some of you might be very surprised to find that out. Some of you might not, but I'm going to assure you that all the information that I'm going to be presenting to you today is based in facts, and I can provide that information down below for you to research it yourself. I'm going to do my best to stick to my key points and stick to my script and be as factual and informative as I can so that you can get the information that you need, because this is very important that you go out and share this information with your friends. This is something that many of us did not know up until just now. At some points, I may stray off and interject my own opinion into this. I'm going to do my best to avoid that. Now, as you and I both know, Kamala Harris was recently picked as the VP nominee, but concurrently with this, new information about her California Attorney General actions have come to light, and that's very important. Now, work with me here. This is all going to kind of wrap up into the end, and it will make sense. The gun owners of California recently filed an amicus brief in the Rhodes versus Becerra case, which challenges the ammunition background check system. 100,000 people were denied. Over 99,000 people were falsely denied their right to keep and bear arms because ammunition is protected under arms. Without ammo, you have no guns, so you have no use for a gun. Ammo is a constitutionally protected right. 90,000 people were falsely denied. 760 people were denied, 16 of which that should have been denied were eventually approved ammo purchases. This system is bad. It is not efficient, it is not effective, and the state is doing a horrible job of implementing it. All of those claims about the efficiency, the right and wrongness of this ammo background check system is all hanging on the assumption that the DOJ, as the official gatekeeper of a fundamental human right, are acting in accordance with the Constitution of the United States. All of that is hanging on the assumption that the California Department of Justice, as the gatekeepers of a fundamental civil right, the people that determine whether or not you can keep and bear arms, is acting within the confines of the Constitution, because the Constitution does not grant a right. The Constitution is meant to control the government and keeping them from doing anything that they're not allowed to do. The brief specifically cites and attaches a binder from the California Department of Justice Bureau of Firearms Dealer of Record Review Procedures. And this is really where it gets good. Those records had two major issues that go back to when Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the state of California. The DOJ has non-statutory policies to deny persons whom they unilaterally deemed prohibited persons. These include persons deemed to have non-statutory mental illness and those who make threats toward an elected official. Now, whether or not that's right or wrong for them to be denied the purchase, these policies are unlawful and violate the civil rights of everyone denied based upon them. Their due process rights, their Second Amendment rights, and their First Amendment rights. This severely infringes upon someone's First, Second, and Sixth Amendment rights. Now, the problem with this is that this isn't simply just some person working at the DOJ that looks at a background check and says, hey, John Smith from San Jose, I remember that guy that beat me up in high school. I'm going to make sure that he doesn't get a gun. Whether or not that's correct, or whether or not that's true, or whether or not that is a good thing to do, irrelevant. This is a systemic issue. Kamala Harris is part of the systemic problem that comes from the DOJ. They instituted a policy that went through several drafts, or assumingly must have gone through several drafts. They implemented it formally. This is an official policy of the Department of Justice to categorize people as prohibited outside the realm of their authority. They systemically went after people who are not prohibited persons and turned them into prohibited persons without due process. Now, here's the second issue. Because these policies were kept secret by the Department of Justice, there was no way, and there still is no way, for the denied person who has been falsely denied to know why they've been denied. The DOJ kept these policies secret, so someone with a clean criminal history, clean mental health history, under every law and the state and feds and local laws, they should be able to own a gun. However, the DOJ had their own policies that were put into writing that denied them their rights secretly without due process. That's wrong. The question this brings up is, are these denied individuals placed into a mental health database? Are these people secretly labeled by the DOJ to have a mental illness in official state records? Who determines whether an alleged statement is a threat, and what recourse does a denied individual have? If you don't know why you've been denied, how do you argue that you shouldn't have been denied? In addition to the non-statutory mental, and what that means is the state is saying you cannot have guns because of your mental health, which we don't know what that means because there is no law on the state or federal books that would deny you from owning a gun. Legally, you should be allowed to have your gun and ammo. The problem is they put an unlawful reason for denying someone a purchase. It does not matter if you agree or disagree with the fundamental meaning of the Second Amendment, because that's not what we're talking about necessarily. What we're talking about here is the state going outside of their realm of authority to enforce laws that don't exist. They are enforcing things upon you that do not exist without due process. That's wrong. Among the reasons to delay or deny a firearm, there is law enforcement agency requested. Now, I'm going to read an excerpt from the amicus brief because it puts it into better words than I ever could. No matter if one is in agreement with the categories listed within the policy, no legislator granted the department such discretion and no due process is afforded within that category. The mere existence of written, non-statutory policy prohibitions overshadows the credibility and legitimacy of any denial from the department without substantiation of records supporting a statutory basis for every denial, which, as described above, has an approximate 50% chance of being accurate. Moreover, such written policies cast doubt on the reliability of the department to act as the gatekeepers of a fundamental constitutional right to keep and bear arms under the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. Though the appellant attempts to cast denial of tens of thousands of citizens' rights to obtain ammunition as justifiable because 750 of these individuals were deemed prohibited persons, an 0.8% purported accuracy rate based on an incomplete and inaccurate databases does not justify denying tens of thousands of non-prohibited persons access to ammunition, especially now when there is a greater potential for an immediate and urgent need to exercise the right of self-defense as a consequence of retreating or ineffective police departments. To wrap everything up, Kamala Harris, as the Attorney General of the state of California, put into place policies that attacked your First Amendment, Second Amendment, and Sixth Amendment rights. Under absolutely no circumstance should we allow her to get away with this. I'm very hopeful that in the coming weeks we will see more information come to light due to her being the vice presidential nominee. If you have information that pertains to this, let me know. My email is down below. If this is something that concerns you or something that you did not know about prior, please, I urge you to share this out elsewhere. Share this on Facebook, share this on Reddit, share this on Twitter. People need to know what the VP nominee was doing. We need to know. People need to know this information. I don't care who you vote for ultimately. What I care about is true and accurate information being out there. People need to know the truth about what she was up to. It hurts me to know that this will ultimately probably get brushed under the rug, but I ask you to please not allow that to happen. You all know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.